Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Monday Night Chaos Magic. I'm Catalyst, and I will be co hosting and doing tech tonight. And our host will be John Michael
Oh, hello, hello.
under the northern
Hi.
lights there. Um, the theme of Chaos Magic is one of your own and a cover, if you so choose, or two of your own, or whatever magical chaos you'd like to bring. We are ready for it. No hate speech, no sexism, no, just be cool about it, you know? Be awesome. Be you, be love. And with that being said, we're going to kick it off tonight with Whisper Poet.
Hey, hey, hey. It's great to see everybody in this space. So, I teased you earlier and I said that I was going to read my dear friend Teresa Gallion, and I was going to, but I'm in the witchy room and I happen to look next to where my laptop is sitting, and there's a stack of papers that I came across not too long ago in a box. These are poems that a friend I went to school with wrote when I was, I believe, 11 years old. I was in boarding school in Pennsylvania with this girl, and I sincerely wish I could reconnect with her. So maybe if I read her out loud, the universe will hear that call. I would love to give these back to her because they're absolutely beautiful words. And like when you hear this poem, you're going to go, oh my God, like an 11-year-old, a 12-year-old wrote that. So, yeah, this is called A World Without. And this is by Holly Nelson, age 12. The world is so lonely. Stick it in a package and tie it up with string. How would I go on without music? A soothing song. What would life be without bees? Watercolors on banged up boards, and horses running proud, ever longer, striving to be free. Too long outside, the sunburn stings. A bit of music, a song to sing. When you found the objects that touch your heart, reach in the trunk. That's a good start. Take out the dusty package, the one tied up with string. Throw it in the air while sounds of trumpet flare, and smugly watch the old people, the ones staring on the rusty park bench. Holly Nels, 12 years old. Yeah, she wrote that. Okay, and then I have one that I wrote when John Michael visited North Carolina. We went and hung out at this super cool, super dope coffee house. It was in this old converted warehouse with super high ceilings. And they had, they look like old silk parasols. They were like a cream color hanging on a wire that was sort of draped above us. And that's where the first line of my poem tonight came from. Under lily pads of silk, frog on a wire, been hanging on for dear life. My history, not board and batten, more beard and battered heart. Pisces, fish fry with motherfuckers hip deep in the cauldron I swam in. I made a moat of me, myself, and I, reactive, not proactive, literally, figuratively radioactive, head filled with the aftermath of interactions, these bad dragons who I would imagine don't give a shit or even remember the things that happened, but I do. And what pain engraved, anger autoclaved, the scar shiny with age. I don't want to spend this Aquarian age blinded by the ripples of heat, lightning, rage. You have to give to receive, and you only get what you give. I'm letting it go. I'm giving this warhead to the universe in a sacred circle in the dark so that the cool stillness of the stars can show me the secret path to the center of my heart. I have your number. I'll call you when my transformation is complete. I'll ride on the back of your moonbeam to the place of restart, reboot, and no repeats. Hold my hand as I press the button. My name is Eve. I brought lunch. I'm yours for the next lifetime. And together, we can make art. Poem.
Oh my goodness, Whisper, that was gorgeous.
Thank you.
Oh, I love that last piece and the 12-year-old that
Yeah.
wrote the other one. Wow. Everyone give it
Oh,
up for Whisper.
Thank you,
That
guys.
was great. Was the frog on the string like in that place too, or was that just an image you worked with?
I had a frog, quote unquote, as my imaginary playmate. Realistically, it was a ghost, but when I was a little girl, and I love frogs, and I had referred to those parasols hanging above me as lily pads. Ah, frog, yes.
That's cool.
But I had referred to those parasols hanging above as lily pads. So of course the frog had to hang from the wire that the parasols.
Yeah, I
You
like that
went
image.
to boarding school. That tells me a lot about you. Explains a lot.
Oh boy, I didn't know that there was a pigeonhole for boarding school girls.
No, boarding school is where young people form, really close relationships and alliances with their fellow students, and they learn how to sort of get around authority with quite some alacrity because, it's you and the teachers, and you're stuck there.
Well, the good thing about boarding school was that as long as you showed up where you were supposed to be at the time you were supposed to be there, what happened between A and B, nobody knew. So there was that. But thank you guys. And I hope the universe hears me. I want to find Holly Nelson and give her back these amazing poems that she wrote when she was 12 years old, which was 40 years ago, more than 40 years ago. So, yeah.
amazing, Whisper, amazing. On deck we have Paul Skiff, but up next, everybody give it up for Cora.
Let's go, Cora.
So I was gonna read you America by Allen Ginsberg, but I just realized it's like 6 pages long. And then the poem I prepared is like 3 pages long, so I won't do that poem. Trying not to be nihilistic today, so let's choose this one. This is a song by Allen Ginsberg. The weight of the world is love. Under the burden of solitude, under the burden of dissatisfaction, the weight we carry is love. Who can deny? In dreams, it touches the body, in thought, constructs a miracle. In imagination, anguishes till born and human, looks out of the heart, burning with purity. For the burden of life is love. But we carry the weight wearily, and so must rest in the arms of love at last, must rest in the arms of love. No rest without love, no sleep without dreams of love. Be mad or chill, obsessed with angels or machines, the final wish is love. Cannot be bitter, cannot deny, cannot withhold. If denied, the weight is too heavy. Must give for no return, as thought is given in solitude, in all the excellence of its excess. The warm bodies shine together in the darkness. The hand moves to the center of the flesh. The skin trembles in happiness, and the soul comes joyful to the eye. Yes, yes, that's what I wanted. I always wanted. I always wanted. to return to the body where I was born. Poem. I won't read you my political one because I'll get ragey. This is more of a journal entry than a poem, but it reads like a poem. Today I sit by the San Diego River. The water is lower than when I last visited, and my old teacher, the common carp, is gone from this alcove. They are likely someplace downstream or somewhere along the decay, following the strike and digestion of the great blue heron. Though no signs of that hermit today either. And yet the songbirds chirp and flit about the poplars and the areo branches, whose leaves remind me still of golden Parnassians. Butterflies, I mean. The wind comes and the leaves resemble wings until they break free from their once steady anchors and twist and turn gracefully with gravity down onto the river, making small rippling currents. The leaves float on. There's so much peace and grace and decay. Perhaps it's best to say it's a pleasant process to observe when one has only the knowledge that life rebounds whenever and wherever it can. Resistance and surrender. I wonder how a fallen leaf then, or a leafless tree, looks to someone much older than I am, or to a child who has yet to learn the summit of their own spark. Will I look to death with curiosity and wonder when I am older? Will I better see life with the same sense of gratitude and reception? I should like to experience this journey unto the conclusive finale of energy. And on the days when I feel the opposite, nihilistic, I will wonder what the sky looks like and remember that I am here to learn or forget. I am here to be here, and all that ails my senses are curious effects of the ongoing experience. Poem, journal entry. Thank you.
Oh my goodness, Cora. That was absolutely gorgeous.
What a beautiful exploration. I put it in the chat, but I love your energy and your vibe. I love the way you read. There's such a care for the words that you're speaking. It's like I can hear the love in you for the words as you speak them. It's really beautiful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That was
you.
a stunning piece.
I also have to slow down when I read my own handwriting. But thank you.
Oh, I loved it. That would be amazing. Keep reading from your journal. Like, that was very poetic. Like, wow.
Mhm.
Your pages are so lucky.
Thanks.
Like what Whisper said, I was kind of on that same tip. Your delivery was so care wrought, and you have this naturally emotional undertone to the timbre of your voice that really lends itself to how you deliver your poems. That's just kind of a gift, you know.
Thanks.
Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. Well, everybody on mute and give it up for Cora one more time. That was absolutely beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah, Cora. Oh,
absolutely.
thank you for sharing.
On deck we have Chels, but up next, the one and only Paul Skiff. Take it
Okay.
away when you are ready, Paul.
Thanks, John. Oh, it's good to be here with everybody again. Um, for those of you, I think only one or two, if that many. Not in the United States, it's King Day. So I wanted to just read some excerpts from a very long poem I was commissioned to do a couple decades ago for a program at a place that was called Brooklyn Academy of Music downtown. That doesn't exist anymore. Brooklyn Academy still exists. Brooklyn Academy of Music downtown was sort of this annex. Brooklyn Academy of Music fronted up as the place where they would let the people who they didn't think were tame enough for the main venue to come and do their work. So you could go do it at this, basically the closet where you can scream and scream into the dark, and that was safe for them. And the person who put this program together, his name is William Pope L., who's now this fabulously famous visual artist. And I'm just going to skip through this thing. So it's, some of the stuff is sort of out of context and all of that. It'll be disjunctures, but maybe you can just get into the poetry of it. I am holding a rally inside myself in my most open places, patience, intoxication, my first vision, empty sleeves of obedience. I am here to get out of control, edge towards cradle between awareness and hate, wake up to humanity through hole in my belonging, clogged with diseases, transparent with genetic predispositions, stilled by money lack, rhapsodized by government refusals, dressed in inapplicable middle class kin systems, postponed by deprioritizing framework of exclusions. Welcome to those whose society wastes in order to reproduce itself. Each struggle, our acceptance, unfelt, unfought. Here, your beliefs are limits with no collective necessity. The best way to get rid of human problems is to get rid of the human being I am, disappearing like patience into your anger. Hi, bosses. I am a category moved out of reality, throwing a net of devotions dragged through excitement, an impractical, reckless life whose crookedness is accessed by containment here on this plantation, sought for really living. Immerse yourselves like cultural patriots in the American lowlife that I am. Make a big feeling among yourselves, cultural patriots, from this white cultural form whose meaning is to prevent infection and decay, to remain untouched by life, its problems and emotions, to capture us by art and ordeal and use and a forum that I came here to blow up. I want you to listen to me like you were one of my friends, because if hearing this right now means you would have to pay a public utility a monthly fee to have access through their monopoly, that means my friends won't be hearing this. I am commencing a revolution inside myself. Good evening, representatives of the anti-state. Welcome to today's session of Utopia. as the first condition of utopia is that one uses less and less of what one customarily uses in regular life. Today, we will be using less of the belief that hunger, cold, sickness, crime, degradation, and stupor are spiritual states where the meaning of life comes from emptiness. I especially want to thank any first-time attendees here at this utopia who may be slightly ill at ease over the somewhat barren scrappiness and difficulties of this particular version of utopia. I'm calling a takeover inside myself. My noisy need to remember the cultural heritage of a people to get beyond the reality of today used against us all. I'm calling a takeover inside myself, experiencing the ghosts, the words of the loom, lacing warp and weft, my basket, my mat, my body moves in threads, my clothes are made of seed hairs, cotton, gossypium, plant of the mallow family, lifted after the flowers fall, bowls, my cloth, my bowl. I need to remember a ghetto is made of woman hating. So Madame Lulu White, Emma Johnson, the Parisian Queen, Countess Willie Piazza, and their professors of piano lived in Storyville. I need to remember the 2 million members of the General Federation of Women's Clubs who voted to annihilate jazz in 1921. I need to remember when the city refused to give Billie Holiday her jazz license and singing was a crime. I need to remember the turkey trot got you a court summons and lost you your job. I need to remember that every hip hop is a haunt of Grant's bands coming down home in their blue freedom costumes with larger economic possibility and instruments of personal expertise. I need to remember that for King, being a minister was an acceptable way to be unacceptable, that a Negro was a rare thing only found in the United States of America, and that America holds the world hostage with an extremist government that lets inequality exist for some 150 fucking years after saying it is over. That at Cornhill and Temple number 7, a man threw this down beyond the right voice to shout in. I need to remember that the way the world and MLK and Malcolm X have gone apart is like us being separate and ignorant of each other. It's not a natural process. And the only reason I would ever be nonviolent would be so the real terms of relation as set from above will be articulated to the extent a hose club or a dog or a police gun can be diplomatic and politic. I am making a beautiful society inside myself where I will search with a brick or a flame for the unavailable effect of happiness in consciousness, my consciousness, the arena of struggle where peace is not the size of an education in which anyone suffers, switching their face on and off like a microphone, where there is no long line at the Bureau for Licenses to shout, where we live towards one another, where there is no contest to abolish memory or regulate it. I am not a dreamer, but I am trying to arrange a departure from this fucked up society that has been stuck inside me. And if I can do that, then I'm gonna shout that dream out all over this place.
Yeah, Paul. Oh, that's so empowering. Like, I love it. You're so like a rebel, but like it shouldn't even be this way. Like, oh, amazing. Everyone, give it up for Paul.
Oh, I fucking love your work. I just fucking love it. And I hope one day that you will let me read you because I I need I was about to say I need to have you in my mouth, but that wasn't gonna come out. Sorry, but like
I like the sound of that.
You only get to say that one time.
I can think of a whole hell of a lot worse places for me to be.
Amazing, Paul. Thank you so much for sharing. Okay, so up next we have Chels, I believe. Chels, are you
Hi, thank
there?
you.
Oh, good
Yeah,
to
I'm
hear your
here. Can you
voice.
hear me?
Is this your first
Hi,
time
thank you.
here?
It is.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
here at Open Minds, we like to get everyone to open up their mics and give you a nice, warm, happy welcome to the family. So if everyone could open up and say hey to Chels.
welcome
Hey,
to
Hey,
hey,
Welcome.
hey.
safe space. So glad
Thank
you're here.
you.
thanks for
Thank you
coming here.
guys. Thank you. Thank you. Um, so thanks for John Michael. He's actually a pretty good friend of mine. So thank you for inviting me here tonight. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
So I'll just I'm gonna read. It's called This Tortured Me. And so this is one that I wrote just about why do I write poetry and you know, like what does it mean to me? Um, so I write to know my heart, to study my pain and learn its name, to understand my longing and find my belonging, to pour lightning in these veins, encourage the current to never stay the same, to feast and fill these bones with beautiful madness, and release the torment and sadness, rising up to my own warrior's call, to speak all the words that cradle my fall. I am my own hero after all. Push the pain into the abyss, but I would be remiss to not indulge and reminisce in the exquisite scars that now exist. In a world so very jaded, I write to be sated. I spill my ink to the beat of my drum, to purposely succumb to my thoughts, to my soul, weaving them together to become whole. To repair these broken wings so I may fly, feel the light flight of candor in a world tainted with lies. To feel heard, even if only the paper hears. While it streaks with ink and catches my tears, I tip the pen to words before throwing stones. For I am not without sin to repent and atone, to blossom or force abscission, to break free from my prison, to pay the universe my dues for the time I borrowed, to learn the beauty rooted deep inside of sorrow, to speak the words you cannot find that sparks your heart and crucifies your mind, to explore my depths and chase the changing truth, to soften my edges for the benefit of you, to befriend my demons that appear each night, so they may slumber in the light and let me find balance in this fight, to pull these daggers from this heart and with my blood create this art. Thank you.
Wow, that was incredible. Welcome home. Please keep coming back.
Way to go, Chels. Way to go.
Love that
Thank
last
you.
line. That was like a powerful hex.
Thank
That was
you.
beautiful, Chelsea. I'm so proud of you. I think that's
Thank
Chelsea's
you.
second time reading. So I'm so very proud of you for taking the chance. I know you weren't going to read tonight, and I'm so happy and honored that you did, and getting out there and sharing your work with the world. You are such a beautiful writer, and like Kat said, welcome home.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you have a new fan for sure. I'm over here just bouncing in my chair like, what? This is amazing.
Thank you. I really don't like reading, and I don't like reading in public, and so you'll notice my video is off because I hate it. I really don't like it. But John Michael actually inspired me to come on tonight, and I'm glad that he did. Thank you guys for listening.
Thank you for coming on.
See, it's not so hard. This isn't, I'm not a big person. I'm not a very social person myself, Cora. And so, uh, you know, it's easier to come to something like this than to show up at something in person, physically. And I think you just experienced how, open and supportive the people are here. So I hope you don't feel timid about coming back again.
Yeah, I think I will.
Definitely.
Yay.
We hope to see you again. Definitely looking forward to that. Amazing. Everyone, give it up one more time for Chels. And with that, up next we have John Michael, and on deck we have Avotcja.
Thank you. Thank you. This is a piece that I wrote recently called Image of Hell. And I figured I'd read this one more time. Justine has kind of jumped in the middle of it with it. We're doing something cool with it, but I'm gonna read it like it is before we rearrange it all up. So, Image of Hell. I don't think people understand what hell is. That invisible line on the other side where nightmares exist. The abyss of lost souls where the demons toll the bell and the devil stirs echoes. Those silent whispers ring loud on deafened ears. A spell that's cast, intrusive past, 1,000 lifetimes within a single breath. Nothing left but to face your death in the reflection of eyes where light once glared. Scared was an understatement. The howls through branches, the darkness in stanzas, masturbating to feel joy, a decoy to feel something more than just pain. The stain of shame worn on this clothing we call skin, reliving every moment of suffering over and over again. Eternity in flames of sin, a glimpse of what once had been. Dead to this world I live in, alabaster skin, thin, frail the face with powder traced nostrils. An imposter now fills the shoes I once wore. Sore, bored, I score another fix to trick the thickness of the skin wearing down thin, shallow the shell where a soul once lived, given into the whispers till the darkness wins. The image of hell I used to exist in. John Michael. That's all I got tonight.
That was
Dude.
awesome, John.
Dude. Yes. So loving that.
Well, here's a
Because you sent me,
question for you. I hope you don't mind my asking. Do you think you could have written such a poem while you were in hell? You end the poem by talking about, you're no longer there anymore. Was that
Mhm.
what enabled you to write the poem, not being there anymore? Or do you think you could have written it while you were still there?
I've got a lot more that I wrote when I was in that place. I've got to go back and kind of read. I have this horrible thing, Paul, where I don't title my poems. So when I go into my documents, it's untitled document, untitled. There's like 2,000 untitled documents in there. So I got to go back and try to find like all those ones where I was going through that dark moment. So I could bring them back to life and share those because there was some really interesting stuff going through my head around that time, and that was just before I made the decision to get clean and kind of make a deal with the stars for one last chance at all this and to move forward. So
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I seldom title poems either. I end up just using the first line when I want to save it on the computer. And I've started just dating the poems, the month, day, and year I wrote it. That makes it a lot easier for me to find stuff because I can just go back in chronological order.
yeah, yeah, I got to do something, and I'm kind of like I've been challenged, and I've been challenging myself to kind of get out of that rhythm that I've been in, and just kind of mix things up and try to take myself to the next level, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it sounds to me like you're one of these people who's perpetually on their way to the next level and the next level and the next level. You're not somebody who sits still in their work, and that's part of how, you know, maintain growth in every
Hmm.
sense of the word, not just with your writing.
Right. So I'm excited to see what comes next. And, that's a big part of why I've been trying to get involved in all these different collaborations too, because, working with other writers challenges you to think differently. And it keeps you on your toes because you want to adapt and adjust and flow with the other writer as well. And I think that's a really beautiful thing and a really beautiful way of growing. But thank you so much, everybody. Um, on deck we have Billy, and up next, um, Vacha, is it?
Yes,
I'm sorry about that.
I'm so honored to
It's a
be here.
pleasure to have you. I've never met you before, so I'm excited to hear what you have for us.
I'm grateful to be here, and every time I come, I hear some beautiful things. So, um, I'm going to read two poems, one of a friend of mine and one of mine. This is from a book I'm in, but I'm not going to read my poem from the book. It's called Poetry of Resistance, Voices for Social Justice, edited by Francisco X Aracon and Odelia Galvan Rodriguez. And this poem is called Reasonable Suspicion by Manuel Ramos. The people defined by reasonable suspicion are everywhere without being anywhere, and that's suspicious. Behita, hunched over loads of dirty hotel laundry, stands as short as my impossibly short grandmother. Young Rufa, with insolent walk, wears my father's nose as though they were brothers from the same regal line of kings and warriors, so suspicious. Joke-telling scrubber of the Puerto Rico grill could be my cousin if my cousin had lived through Nam. Laughing girl, cleaning toilets, spooks me with eyes that must have been stolen from my mother. Very suspicious. Daily encounters with familiar strangers do not subdue the hate or calm the hard wind, and we are again the usual suspects. Arizona drowns in sands of suspicion as it denies reflections of my family as saviors. And that was by Manuel Ramos. And one of mine from my book, and I'll put my book in the chat in case anybody is interested in getting a copy. I was called a sound junkie because I am a musician, but I was hearing music in everything, in every sound and what have you. So, which made me a very weird kid because I wasn't interested in anything else but the music, and it was really an interesting journey. So it's called True Confessions of a Sound Junkie. I I am a bona fide sound junkie. Call me a child of music. I was created, born to the tune that called two very beautiful but incompatible dances together to make love, to make me to the rhythmic humming of rusty bed springs. And on that night, the slippery moans and warm sweat sounds of their love dance became the song that is me. The sensuous sounds of their love dance sang me into existence. That night did not walk in softly, and neither did I. I came with all the fire and wild passion of a hurricane. Like a shy tornado, I came. I heard music and the rustling of newspapers in the streets and a symphony in the sound of dripping water. Every squeaky door and leaky faucet had its song to sing. I even heard music in the dice games in the corner. I ran wild and free like the doo-wops and mambos, kaizo, calypso, boleros, and gospel, bomba, samba, blues, and jazz, sweet, uncontrollable melodies that were everywhere. Melodies that drowned the filth of city streets, but always left a place for me in the silence between their notes. And every time I thought I'd lose it because the racket was more than I could stand, Spirit said, listen, 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 listen to the rhythm. Listen, it's there. Listen, all around you, there's music everywhere. Listen. Find the rhythm, listen to the rhythm, and when you become that rhythm, you'll find that noise is only a lonely sound, 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 waiting, waiting, waiting for someone who does more than just hear with the ears. Spirit said, listen, noise ain't nothing but a lonely sound waiting, waiting and patiently waiting, looking for a friend. And I knew that I could be that friend, that wild and crazy friend who's not afraid to grab the stage and let the people know noise ain't nothing but a lonely sound, a sound waiting for a song to sing, waiting, impatiently waiting, searching for that somebody, someone who listened long enough to make her want to sing, someone like me, someone like you, someone that knew that noise ain't nothing but a sad and lonely sound, 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 sound. Just another naked note out there looking for some clothes. Thanks for listening to my words. I'll put my book in our poetry series. We do a multilingual poetry series the last Saturday of the month, or the fourth Saturday of the month, which is coming up pretty soon. And it's we always have 4 features and 10 open mics. So if you want to be one of them, please join us. And it's always a great thing. And thank you for listening.
Thank you for that poem. Let's type in the
Amazing,
chat. That perfectly
Avotcja.
encapsulates my heart. There's music
Yeah,
everywhere. Thank you.
Such beautiful writing. Thank you so much.
you can definitely hear the song in that one too. Like the one that you wrote, like, oh, I could feel it in the room. Like that was gorgeous.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much for sharing.
Thank you so much.
On deck, we have Blxck Sxlt. But up next, we have Mr. Billy. Mr. Billy, take it away when you are ready, sir.
Thank you. This is a book that came out 7.5 years ago. I have a poem in it. I'm not going to read my poem, but understand that I stand 10 toes down on this business. And the reason why I say that is while there's a lot of people who, since the campaign, have acted brand new about this man, even though he's wreaked quite a bit of cultural and political havoc over the last decade. Not only are they acting brand new, but there's a lot of people who've switched sides. I am not a Republican or a Democrat. I'm a motherfucking leftist. Fuck him and all these presidents. Before I read my own poem, this is my kid brother, my touring partner, and my publisher, Will Gibson, the poet laureate of Eureka, California. The poem is titled "The Spray Paint Smile on the Bridge is Fake." It is after C.L. Bledsoe. There are bank parking lots full of kids with Papa's truck that is covered in Confederate flags. They drive up to Sonic and park and drive back to the bank to park again. They yell about black people like dogs barking after a pedestrian that has never come close to its yard. They yip and growl and curl lips all full of tobacco spit and daddy's drunken rants, and none of them have ever seen an ocean. None thought to go see one. They don't dream that big. There are bushels of skeletons that block the street, that block everyone from getting out. There is a 90-year-old mattress in Granddaddy's trailer that 3 family members died on. People have fallen in love and hearts have been broken all around that mattress. There are secrets behind the brick homes up on the ridge and love in the trailer parks. Across the street from the trailer park is a middle school. Behind that middle school is a spot under a tree where too many locals have lost their virginity. There is still a spot of blood on the ground. There are houses with dirt floors and toothless women at the kitchen table, with bald, dying old men out in the yard that yell into the woman at the table. They say, "I love you, you fat old bitch." And they mean every single word. They will not understand what you mean. They will look at you like a confused dog when you tell them that it's disrespectful to call her that. There are problems that rise from the greenish smoke. Angry little people who cook magic powders that choke the life out of the bored locals. Everyone gags on something. There are limits here, not only on the signs. The speed leaks off 3 bloated new downtown buildings and drive-through liquor stores. It's Western Arkansas. There are drive-through liquor stores. Booze and the perception of the movement are only options, but Little Rock is scary, and Forest City is a big city of 13,000 people if you could count all the illegal farm workers. There are drugs everywhere and nowhere and all places in between. Evil hides in quiet corners, and only God can judge me smirks as it judges you from the front church pew and tries to fight you in the parking lot. There are issues unresolved, floating in the Walmart aisles where shoppers mock each other after they pass, always under their breath. No one wants confrontation in such a holy place. There are train tracks that still divide the town along color lines. The whites call the black side of town colored town, like their great-grandfathers did, and hate those of us who ignore the borders with a smile. There are places that surround this little rice and cotton cluster called sundown towns, where they warn black people to get out by sundown. And they do. There are sundown towns that warn white people to get out by sundown. And they do. There are sundown towns. There are rules here. There are questions that linger on tongues, but never find the courage to come out into the humid air, and dry answers that no one seems to have or want to share. Everyone knows where McDonald's is, knows that Hayes and Walmart switched spots, that Burger King closed, and Sonic crossed the street, but can't give you directions to the library because it closed last year, ain't it? The willful ignorance soaks through the streets like a flood no one cares about. They will drown someday. No one wants to learn to swim. Will Gibson. Because there are going to be a lot of insurrectionists pardoned, including those that did the hypocritical thing and beat down a bunch of cops in the process. I would like to dedicate this to them and their punk ass followers. This is called No More Questions. It is from A Tree Falls in the Hood. Holler at me if you want a copy. If the name Rodney King means anything to you, don't ask. If you are old enough to recall Richard Pryor wax comedic about LAPD chokeholds or how he shot up his own car and retreated as police approached recalling what they do with their magnums, don't ask. Don't open your mouth. If you've never had your spouse's gaze check and unmarked as 12 gazes at your menacing black ass walk from the corner with groceries, don't ask. If you think Sandra Bland killed herself, we probably aren't friends. If you know a good one who ain't turning in the bad ones, don't say shit else. If you can't tell a pistol from a stun gun by its weight, by its gravity, by the reputation of the user, stop bothering. If you don't see the blue line that separates brown bodies from their uniforms, you probably won't recognize a lynch mob and have the audacity to demand that black athletes stand mute for a slaver's anthem. Fuck out of here. If my reply to you is, but they deserve to die, choose your next phrase with the care that I choose my allies. Don't ask about criminal records, family life, the toxicology report, like you tried not to ask if Officer Friendly went too far. Before you bring me, but why, or did they comply? Google it, or hit my Cash App. You watch the video. Black people, indigenous peoples, stop answering. Stop having these conversations with devil's advocates and stand on the truth of our perils. To the devil and advocates, you have dismissed perilous previous discourse with verdicts and legislation, statistics and binders. The clock is running out. Keep rigging the game, moving the goalposts, changing the questions. I promise you, you will not like our final answer. Thank you.
Wow, Billy, thank you so much. Everyone, open up your mics and show some love.
I was
Way to
straight
go, Billy.
fire. Thank you for reading tonight.
I always love watching poets that I know have like done this a time or two because I just soak it in, right? Like your performance and your ability to bring your words and other people's words to life, like that means something to me. Like I really take that in. So I appreciate you for that. Thank you so much.
I love, love, love your passion and the power of your conviction when you share those words. It is such a magical thing, and thank you for sharing.
Yes, sir. I always appreciate people who speak straightforward at oppression, stand up and speak out, and just refuse to accept, tolerate, um, and let it be. It's the power of the spoken word. And that's the way we can change it. Thank you, Billy.
Get up, stand up.
Yes, sir.
That's all you rats. I love it. Thank you very much, Billy. On deck, we have Parquillian, but up next, Blxck Sxlt. Take it away when you are ready. I'm excited to hear what you have this week.
Hello, hello. Can you hear me okay? Okay, so I got two pieces for you. Let me see here. The first piece is called Guardian, and this will be a poem. And the second piece, I'm going to share some of my art with you. Something that I have created, a musical piece that, and I'll have to use the share screen feature for that, if that's okay. So, yeah. So we'll start out with the poem. This is Guardian. If this poem found you, it was meant for you. Hello. You know me. I'm your guardian angel. Don't worry. I'm always here, watching your stupidity. Don't overthink it. I'm here when you sleep. I'm here when you're awake. I'm here when you fuck up. And I'm here when you succeed. We do everything together. Everything. Don't overthink it. And if you need me, I'm always 2 steps in front of you. And that is Guardian. And so with that, I will move on to the second piece. Share with you guys a bit of music. Let me see here. Share, yeah. Let's see. So a bit of warning. I like my music loud. I don't know about you guys, but you know, so so what I usually do with my albums is I crank the decibels up a little bit to like really get that bass going. But something about like the microphone, like if you're listening through a microphone, you might want to turn the volume a little bit down, because I don't know if your microphone is anything like my microphone, but for some reason my microphone just like makes the volume like cranks it up to like 300% for some reason. So if you're listening through a microphone, I'll give you a little bit of time to turn the volume a little bit down. Might want to turn it down to half. You know, if I listen to it on my headphones, it's fine, you know, but for some reason the microphone wants to play games with the volume. And so if you're listening through it through a microphone, I'll give you a second to turn the volume down. But this is my, I kind of whipped this up, something a little bit different, kind of experimenting with some different things, different concepts. Kind of whipped up 3 songs. We'll put them together in this album, Rabbit Hole. And I'm going to share with you the last song on here, I Am Always Here. And this was kind of inspired by that poem. And so I kind of like took the words and made music out of them. You know what I mean? And so I'm going to share with you, I Am Always Here. Here we go. I hope you like it. Let me know if you can hear it okay. Yeah. So could you hear it okay?
Oh yeah.
Holy, I
Oh, yeah.
love that.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah, I got right into that. I was dancing and could feel like all kinds of different dimensions opening up. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Blxck Sxlt, that was dope, man.
Yeah. Thanks. Thank you. Hey, that's what I'm here for. I like making music. I got it. And it just feels natural. So yeah. So I do it.
It was
Especially
cool.
something that takes you to another place and really gets your mind moving. Um, like I just had so much going through my head listening to that. Um, I could put that on repeat for like an hour and just write to it.
Hey, that's what I'm here for. So I do have this on YouTube. The app that I'm using is BandLab. It's pretty much like, I mean, I'm a musician, and I even had no clue that this app existed until somebody told me, it existed. So, I'll put the link in the chat for the BandLab, but I also put the YouTube chat because I posted to my YouTube. I got the 3 songs on there. They are unlisted, but so you won't really find them by typing them in. But the playlist is public, so you can get to them through the playlist if you go through my playlist and like look through them. So yeah, I will post both links in the chat.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Everybody give it up for Blxck Sxlt one more time.
Yeah, it was awesome. I had to log into my band lab and make sure I was following you and like the song and everything so I could find it again.
Up next we have Parquillian. Go ahead and take it away when you are ready.
All right. Thank you, John Michael, and everyone here tonight. Well, thinking about the true holiday today, I was reminded recently of this poem. This is I Too by Langston Hughes. I too sing America. I am the darker brother. They send me to eat in the kitchen when company comes, but I laugh and eat well and grow strong. Tomorrow I'll be at the table when company comes. Nobody'll dare say to me, eat in the kitchen. Then, by sides, they'll see how beautiful I am and be ashamed. I too am America. And here's hoping that'll be fully realized at some point eventually. But this following up here with a poem that wrote a little while ago about some of the things I've learned about my ancestry over the years, and spent part of today reworking it. So this is called Ancestral Echoes. 1973. When I was 9, we joined a faith my father's family had followed for years, leaving a trail I later would find, where tales I learned of Quaker deeds as abolitionists and natives' friends were not as definitive as I was told. 1682, though William Penn was known to have met with natives to pay them for their lands, his children did not maintain this respect, but cheated them with their cunning plans. 1700. More recent research has brought me to know that many Quakers who settled the frontier held natives' heathen beliefs in contempt, believing the diseases that laid them low were part of God's plan to clear the land of those who refused to accept the Lord. 1754. So ancestors of mine, in fact, owned slaves, and only after John Woolman came by to plead with them to repent their ways did they relent and make attempts to free their enslaved amid such laws designed to make this hard to do. So soon they fled to the northwest frontier to not have to deal with this issue anymore. in 1796. And now I learned Quakers in later days had headed up efforts to send children to schools where they could be cleansed of their native ways and submit to the will of the modern world. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Martin. You definitely don't get to pick your ancestors. You just gotta work with what you got and make the best of it. I love that. I really appreciate that. Thank you so
And
much.
continue to learn and disseminate what you know.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I appreciate you so much.
Yeah,
Everybody, give it up one more time for Parquillian.
yeah, Parquillian. We love you.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Smart.
With that, I think that's the list.
I think we got to the end of the list. But it's been a
I know.
beautiful night of chaos and magic with you all here.
Martin, that was dope. And y'all, like, let's do round 3. Like, seriously, let's go. Who's
You
up
guys
for
can
more
keep going.
words?
I have to go pick up Thomas. So
I know you gotta go get
I
him
can,
at the
I
cigar
can
shop.
send that over to.
Well, if you want to end the recording here and like we can roll into another round, I'll stay in here and keep it going.
Let's go.
Okay. All right.
Who's up for some more poetry?
Yeah.